What's up guys, Anders here with another weekly patch notes video. We have a lot to get through since I'm also including the console patch notes in this video, so let's get started. Over on PC, we have 3 new events: Winter Wonderland, Grab the Mysterious Axe, and Succession event for the newly released Berserker and Sorceress Successions. Now, Winter Wonderland is a playtime and active event where you will get 10 snowflakes a day for playing 300 minutes. You will also get Big Snowball, Steel Bucket, and Sturdy Tree Branch as drops from fishing, gathering, and killing monsters. These items stack and can then be processed into boxes for a chance to get some items. One of the better events we get around this season, though I'm not sure about the drop rate this time around. Last year, I ended up getting a Nuver box out of this event, so we'll see how this year goes. As for Succession events, all you need to do is hit level 60 and both Berserker and Sorceress to receive the usual level up rewards. You can also hit just 59 for the 50 million silver reward if that's all you were looking for. You can also do the Grab the Mysterious Axe event, and that's the Guardian event we have next week. We're going to get the pre-creation for Guardian with her release on the 22nd of January. The Axe event has you going to the Ancient Stone Chamber and interacting with an axe on the ground for an item drop plus 20% increase buff lasting 180 minutes. It's going to cost you 50 energy to get the buff every time, and you must be at least level 30 to interact with that item. Now, as for actual changes, we received the Bartering refresh changes that I talked about I don't know how many patch notes ago. There are now 3 types: regular, instant, and reduced cooldown refreshes. Regular uses 1 barter refresh count to immediately refresh the list. Instant ignores the remaining cooldown and refreshes the list immediately, consuming 2 barter refresh counts. And reduced cooldown does what it basically says, uses all your remaining parlay to reduce the cooldown of the barter refresh. Now, with this change, we also received a nerf to support boxes found through island exploration, while also increasing the likelihood of you seeing special barters. Now, the amount of C-coin coupons needed for Manos accessories is now double the amount that you needed before, which is another nerf to bartering in general. You can also trade up items with Ravinia for the cost of the lower level item plus some C coins. So if you have a bunch of rock salt ingots, you want to increase the tier of that to the one that you actually need, you can use that plus some C coins to trade into it with Ravinia to get that item that you actually need. Now, speaking of nerfs, we also received the Imperial Delivery nerf to gift boxes. You will no longer receive delivery gift boxes for every cooking or alchemy Imperial box you hand in, so keep that in mind. Those days are over. Now, as for some quality of life changes, we received smoother sailing. So you can now autopath faster throughout the seas instead of having to deal with that weird zigzag nature of the current autopath system out in the ocean. The cannon fire range meter was added to ships through their distance was nerfed by around 8%, but you can kind of see the trajectory now. In terms of class changes, we have the 2 successions that came out today, as well as a nerf to the Kuno succession steroid buff. It loses evasion, and it gives only 20 AP buff instead of 30 through the duration. Defense gear, so armor basically, was also changed with a hotfix last night, and they made it impossible to buy defense gear from vendors. Before, you could buy heave helmets for cheaper than market price by buying them from the Heidel blacksmith. Now the max price of these helmets has increased by almost 60% in the central market, and defense gear in general is no longer sold by vendors. You can still get them through Amity, however. Artisan Memory was buffed today as well. It will now recover 5 times the amount instead of 4, and Dandelions and Dragonslayer Awakening weapons have now the effect all species damage instead of all human damage, which should make them better than the blue and green counterparts in both Awakening and Succession. They also added the Secret Book of Old Moon buff to the cash shop for 1250 pearls. You get 100% combat XP, 50% skill XP, 50% life XP, the ability to learn and unlearn add-ons and skills anywhere at any time, the ability to buy villa buffs without the villa license, and 1 more slot for stables and wharfs across all regions of the game. Everyone who's logged in today has the buff applied to their account already for 7 days as a courtesy. Now, the UI for processing, cooking, and alchemy has also been updated, as well as the worker UI, the bargain game for trading, and probably the best thing in this patch, processing no longer cancels when you open up your Pearl inventory. That's huge. Been waiting for that change forever. I can't believe it took them that long, but finally it's here. we can finally process in peace. And lastly, we have the new Shikatu shiny boxes on the Pearl Shop. Each one's going to cost you about 100 million silver, and you can buy 5 of each type every day. There are now 2 types. So the combat one gives at worst cronstones, sharps, and hards. At best, you're going to get Tungrat accessories, though that's going to be about a 0.01% chance most likely. Now for the life version, you get at worst memory fragments and black gems, and at best Tat Manos accessories, and get this, dream horses. You can get Doom, Dyna, and Arduinot from this box. It seems like the life one is the better value, but I will have a clip at the end of this video showing you what 1 billion silver ended up getting me. More than likely, these are going to be scams and not something you should be spending your money on unless you have that much money in game that you might as well gamble it away for fun. So that's up to you. Now let's take a look at the Korean patch notes before we take a look at the console patch notes. Now they received the Papu and Creo content update that includes choosing a faction and then possessing a Papu and a Creo to fish or to fight with other Papu and Creo. So you possess a Papu and then you beat up an otter, and that's the content essentially. They look cute, but honestly, not what anyone who focused on the Great Ocean Expansion Part 1 was actually looking forward to. I don't really see this being very popular. Of course, this is new. It's early days, but the concept just seems not really to coincide with what people who are in the ocean want to do. The new areas, though, they look amazing. Grandija, the Grana port, looks absolutely amazing. And Papakronia, the island west of Grana, looks pretty good too. Now, we're going to have more than likely this content over to us outside of Korea, probably in a few weeks, maybe a month or 2, depending on what the feedback was in Korea. Sometimes they pause fleshing out the content out in other regions. If a lot of people in Korea, for example, were upset with it, or they say it's broken or something needs to be changed. Now, the most crucial update in Korea this week, though, is the buff to Camisylve blessings. Now, they now increase your transportable weight by 1500 LT, your warehouse limit by 2000 VT, and the transaction made transfer limit by 100 VT. So you can basically get double the amount of items than you could before with the transaction made. Considering the addition of the Old Moon buff to the marketplace and to the cash shop, it makes sense that they want to buff the Camisylve blessing. Honestly, not as egregious as the Old Moon buff was, but I don't know. You let me know in the comments. Wizard also received their changes on live servers. Nothing seems to have changed from Lab's update video I made, so you can check that out to see more details on what actually changed with Wizard. Mystic received a very minor change to their rapid stream skill. It was applying a knockdown last hit, even though the tooltip says floating. Now it correctly places the floating on the last hit and not a knockdown. Nothing really serious here. The max price of memory fragments has been increased, as well as forest path wagons and some other items that the developers deemed needed changing. I get the forest path wagon increase since not that many people make them. There's such a hassle, but memory fragments getting a max price increase is interesting. They added the performance ranking system for shy composing. I talked about that in the labs update. We do not have that in our version. I don't know when we're going to get composing for shy. Probably within a month, I'd have to guess. That content is pretty fleshed out, so I think that's going to come soon. Dark Rifts is another major change in Korea. The devs said that Dark Rift content was a huge success, and even after they nerfed it from launch. So a lot of people like Dark Rift. I know no one really complains about Dark Rift too much about the content itself. Maybe they complain about the bosses, right? So they decided it's time to shake things up and introduce what seems to be phases. So where during one phase, Dark Rifts will appear less frequently, but will award more items while at the same time being a lot tougher to beat. It seems to me that they want a difficulty level to coincide with what items you get, so it can encourage you to get stronger. But again, they've spouted some ideas right now, and we won't know for sure until it's fleshed out. In my opinion, out of all the things that could be revamping, Dark Rifts are not one that needs to be looked into. Look into other things. Dark Rifts are fine. Lastly, pets will now loot even if they're resting on your shoulder. We actually have this in our version as well. I forgot to mention it, though. Honestly, it's surprising that this was never the case. No word if this means auto pickup animation for all pets, but we're gonna have to just test it out and see if we notice a difference. That's it for the Korean patch notes. Now, as for the console patch notes, You guys received Kunoichi. No awakening though, just pre-awakened. She's a cool class. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Quick movements and cancels on console seem kind of wonky for me, but you'll let me know. You guys have ninja, right? So I'm sure this is fine. There's a new UI for you as well to coincide with the elements of the PC UI. I expect there to be some people unhappy with this change. Every time UI is changed, people are up in arms. I kind of like the console UI more than our PC UI, but not exactly the biggest deal, to be honest. Training dummies were also introduced and added, so you can now AFK level your XP and skill XP. Every hour is going to cost you 1 million silver, and there's no limit. But if you do disconnect, your time will still be running, so keep that in mind. They're pretty great and supplementary for skill XP gain and high-end combat XP grinds if you're really trying to push levels in skill XP. So that's a good change. Hunting blue whales and Kalk now gives you more items, so it's more lucrative to hunt these bosses. You also now have the updated main story quest gear, which is huge for new players, as they're more than enough to get you through the main storyline and give you some decent gear for just questing. The new accessories can be enhanced to try without breaking and can be enhanced and repaired using new items you get through the main story and daily quests. Now, the new earrings in particular are very, very good. They're equivalent to a Tri-Witch earring at Tri, so not too bad. Noteward changes include buffs to defensive structures, so they don't die so quickly. As people get stronger, they're probably dying too quickly, so that's why they buffed that. In terms of class changes, Tamer received a minor buff to Cloud Stomping, and DK now has 7.5% accuracy gain at level 60. We received this on PC ages ago. It was needed, but still not good enough in my honest opinion as a previous DK player to make DK a really strong, oppressive class. Regardless, that is honestly a huge buff in terms of what it gives you. That much accuracy boost for free is crazy on any class. You guys also received the green armor vendor change, which is interesting. So they're not going to sell armors for you guys anymore, and they've increased the price of armors as well. As far as I know, you guys are going to have to wait a month or so till your next update, though I could be wrong on that. Let me know. I'm not too privy on all the console news. And that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys thought about the changes in the comments down below. Are you excited for Sork and Zorker Successions? I am. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to sub if you haven't already. Make sure to hit that bell icon so you can get notified when I upload my next video. Make sure to like or dislike depending on how your day is going. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.